The Tennessee win total is currently set at 8.5. We've been doing this win total series, if you will, and talking about how the quarterback is going to potentially impact this win total. And while we're still 6 or 7 months away from the season, it could definitely change. 8.5 is the number that we have to go off of, right? So let's talk about Tennessee. Let's talk about Nico Iamaleava. I hope I pronounced that right, but we'll just go with Nico. Let's talk about how Nico will potentially impact this win total. How many wins is he worth? Is he worth a certain amount of wins? What games does he really need to play well and step up in, right? There's a lot of hype around Nico, and rightfully so. I mean, he was one of the best quarterbacks in his recruiting class last year, if not the best. There's a lot of hype going into the season. And with the schedule being tough and challenging and some big games on it, it's not nearly as tough as say Oklahoma's or Florida's or Arkansas's. They got some really, really tough games, and Tennessee has some tough games, but I still think there's a really good pathway. This may be one of the more favorable pathways to hit this win total, and that's assuming Nico plays to the expectations. But basically, Tennessee has 3 games they can lose and still hit this win total, right? So let's talk about Nico. We still don't know exactly what he's going to give. We know he's talented. We know there's a lot of hype. We saw the game against Iowa, the bowl game last year, where he showed his potential. We saw some other flashes through the season to get us excited, but we still don't know, and we still don't know how he's going to react his first time on the road against a really big test. Now, I think Nico's going to play well. I think he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC by the end of the season, but there's still an unknown factor going into it, right? So my thoughts are this. If he hits his ceiling in year 1, which it would be Heisman worthy, then he's worth huge wins and maybe even like an undefeated season, right? That's really, really challenging. But if he doesn't hit his ceiling in year 1, which is really hard to do, but he still lives up to the expectations and still lives up to the hype, he's still worth wins, and he's still going to be able to probably put you in that win total over category, right? So let's look at this schedule, and we'll kind of go through game by game and where the advantage is for Tennessee and what Nico needs to do and who has the advantage quarterback-wise. I think heading into a lot of these games, because of the experience of the other quarterback position, the other quarterbacks may have the advantage, even though Nico has the advantage from a talent standpoint, especially at the end of the season when they are potentially hitting their stride, like when they play Georgia away at the end of the season. Then there could be some potential for an upset there. So let's get into the schedule. But before we do, this is your first time tuning into the channel, thank you. We're just a big quarterback hub. We talk all things quarterbacks, and if it's related to the college football quarterback position, it's all fair game here. So if you like this quarterback niche type stuff that we're putting out, please consider subscribing and like and share. Follow us along, right? All right, so let's dive into the schedule. We'll go through the schedule, and then I'll kind of broadly kind of talk about where I think the best pathway for the over is. So we got Chattanooga. That's a win. We got NC State away. That's a pretty tough game right off the bat. They got Grayson McCall. It's going to be his first game as a Power 5 quarterback, but he's one of the best Group of 5 quarterbacks in all of college football the past few seasons. Had a down year last year, had some injuries, but guy can play. And NC State's coaching staff, they always do a hell of a job. So that's going to be a really, really tough game, especially away for Nico, right? Then you have Kent State home. Boom, gimme. Then you have OU away. I think it's going to be really tough too. This is one of the most exciting games for me, being a quarterback junkie, of Tennessee going to OU, right? We got Nico against Jackson Arnold. 2 of the top highest ranked quarterbacks in the class last year, right? The same class, I believe. Last year, yep, the same class. All battling it out and fighting each other. This is going to be both of their first huge tests. OU's first few games are decent games, but no huge tests. This is going to be a huge test for both of them. And the thing with Nico is he's already going to have a battle-tested game with NC State, right? So you have right off the bat some tough games. Then you have your off week. Then you go to Arkansas away. Arkansas is a tough place to play. Now, Arkansas is not in a good spot right now. They're probably going to be down this year. Transfer quarterback in, Bobby Petrino win. I mean, if they mesh and gel well together, then they could maybe have a better season than people think. But I think you're getting Arkansas early in the season where there's still going to be some life, there's still going to be some hope, and you're playing at Arkansas. That can be a tough place to play. I think that's fairly challenging, maybe an underrated type game, but still Tennessee should be the favorite. Then you have Florida at home. You should be the favorite there. But we did a Florida video, and I think Florida's going to be better than people think too. Now, I'm not saying they're going to necessarily even hit their win total, but I think they're going to be better than people too. I'm not writing Florida off real quick, although their schedule is probably the toughest in college football. And after that, you have Bama at home. tough game. Probably lean Alabama. I think Milroe is going to have another good year. He's got the experience factor. I'm not one to pick on Bama right now just because everyone else is. But still, it's a toss-up game, and you get them at home. Then you have your off game. Then you have your off week again. Then you have Kentucky at home. That should be a win, although we'll see how Brock Vandagriff plays. But you have Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home, who new quarterback, new coach, probably going to be a tough season. That should be a win for y'all. Then Georgia away. That's going to be tough, right? Tennessee's got a shot for sure, and at least Tennessee gets Georgia late in the season. Well, maybe they're all gelling together and feeling really good, but it's away. I think you're playing the best quarterback in college football at that time with Georgia and Carson Beck. I think it's probably a loss, but you still have a shot. And you have UTEP at home, then Vandy away. So let's look at the low-hanging fruit first, like the for sure loss or for sure wins, in my opinion. And again, nothing is for sure, right? But since we're doing a blanket little statement, let's dive into it. So Vanderbilt away, whatever, like that's a win. UTEP at home, that's a win. Kent State, Chattanooga, all like the gimme games, right? All your out-of-conference games besides NC State, those are all wins. So then we go NC State. I think if you can get these 3 games at the beginning of the season, then you're in a really, really good shot. But I think 3 out of your first 5 games are on the road, right? And they're all against pretty tough teams, even with Arkansas. None of these are gimme games. You have OU, Arkansas, NC State. So I think we're going to have a really good idea of like where Tennessee is going to be as a team within the first 5 games. If you go 4-1 in that schedule, I think that's fantastic. If you go 3-2, it could be tough to hit that win total. If you go 2-3, it's going to be really tough. But if you can go 5-0, 4-1, if your only loss can be to an NC State or OU, like if you just lose one of those games, you're 4-1. I think you're in a really, really good spot to hit the win total. And you can't have any slip up games. You can't slip up. You can't slip up against your home game. Your home game is against Kentucky, Mississippi State. Like you got to win those games. Florida, you got to win those games. Even if they're improving, even if Florida's better than people think they're going to be, you still have to win that game to get the over, right? So let's blanketly go through it one more time and talk about what we think. So first 5 games, go 4-1. I think that'd be huge. I think that'd be great. I think the potential and talent, thanks to Nico, is there to do that if they're gelling. But you could also, not go as well. But let's say you go 4-1, and then Florida, Bama. Let's say you go 1-1 there. That puts you at 5-2. Kentucky at home. Let's say you win. You go 6-2. You beat Mississippi State 7-2. You lose to Georgia 7-3, and then you win out against UTEP and Vandy 9-3. That's kind of how I view the pathway moving forward. I think Tennessee can go 9-3 in a really, if Nico's playing really good football. If Nico's playing like exceptional football, then I think you go 11-1. You go 10-2. Like you have a favorable schedule coming up if Nico's playing some exceptional football. And obviously, winning a football game and having a good season is a lot more than just the quarterback. We're not even talking about the other positions on the field, so a lot of that goes into play as well, but we're just specifically talking about how Nico can impact the win total. So Tennessee fans or just football fans in general, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Like, what are your thoughts? Let us know in your comments below what you think Tennessee's number will be. Will they hit the over? Will they go under? I lean over. I think they're in a good spot to go over, especially if Nico is even, 85% of what people say is going to be. That's still a pretty good quarterback, right? So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, if you like this quarterback niche type stuff, we put out film breakdowns. We have current and former quarterbacks come on the show and talk about their experience. So please consider subscribing if you are into that type of content. Again, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Peace.